What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well. So in today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of a different kind of video, and we are going to be baking today. So me personally, I love to bake. I have the biggest sweet tooth and I love baking different foods. I feel like I can be more creative with that, whereas when it comes to cooking, I suck at it. I hate cooking so much, but baking I love. So I came up with this recipe a couple weeks ago and I shared it on my Instagram, and a lot of people were like asking for the recipe, really liked it, so I figured why not share it on here and share it with you guys. And so we're going to be making two types of loaves. We're making a blueberry loaf and a chai loaf. I feel like the weather's starting to get colder, sweater weather is coming in, we want to be cozy, and that is like my favorite time to bake, is like when it's nice and cold and cozy. You want to be cozy and it's nice to have baked goods, like especially when you're having like tea or coffee with like a loaf or like a muffin or something like that. I just love that. It is like my favorite thing. So I know this is a little bit different, but maybe you guys can try this at home. It's really easy to make. This recipe is obviously gonna be vegan. I eat a vegan diet, but it's really easy to make. There's nothing too kind of weird in there. Pretty much all these ingredients you guys will have at home. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. All right, so we have all the ingredients here, and pretty much these ingredients are just for the base of the loaf. We are not adding in the chai or the blueberry yet. We will do that towards the end. But for the base of the loaf, this is what we have. The loaf is more of like a muffin texture. It's more dense than a normal kind of bread texture. That's why I call it like a loaf, because it's more towards that rather than a bread texture. Anyway, so we have two pans here. This is really going to fill up the two pans, this recipe. All the measurements and the ingredients will be left down below. I like to be a little sporadic. I like to add some ingredients here and there. I know with baking you should be pretty exact, but you know, it's fun to be creative a little bit sometimes. So we have our two bread pans, we have 3 bananas, and we have our organic cane sugar. You can use any kind of sugar if you want. I prefer organic cane sugar. We're also using coconut oil. You can use vegan butter or regular butter if you're not vegan, but I prefer using the coconut oil. I just prefer cooking with that. We have some baking powder. We have some buckwheat flour. You can use pretty much anything if you want, but I prefer buckwheat flour. If you want to use white flour, that's okay. It's just I find buckwheat flour is a bit healthier and it's not too grainy like whole wheat flour. And then we also have some vanilla extract. We're going to add in a little bit of that to add, you know, a little bit of sweetness to it. I don't have any natural stuff. I have just the fake stuff. You can get the natural stuff if you want, but I got the cheap stuff. Anyways, we're going to get the KitchenAid out and we're going to start adding all the ingredients in and making our loaves. So I have my bowl here, and I'm not going to go into every single detail about the measurements and things like that, but I'm pretty much just gonna go ahead and start mixing everything together. There's nothing too special. Like I said, I'm kind of a little chaotic when I bake. I don't like separate the flours and everything like that. I don't do that. I just mix it all together and throw it in the blender, and that is what I do. It's just easier for me and I prefer it that way. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna take all those ingredients and mix them all in. Guys, this would not be a baking show with me if I didn't forget something, and I forgot one ingredient that I did not mention before, and it is milk. I forgot to add that ingredient as I was stirring this. I was like, it's missing something, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to put the milk in. So we're gonna add in a cup of milk, and it's gonna make it a little more battery and less dry. I have my 2 baking pans here, and these are like the non-stick ones. So I did oil them with some coconut oil just to, you know, make it easier for when the loaf does come out. And so if you have non-stick pans, then you don't need to oil it, of course. But I did just because it's easier, and these ones are a bit older, so it's not as easy for it to come out. So the batter is done, and what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna split it into 2. We're gonna take half the batter and put it in one of the pans and keep the other half in the blender thing, whatever you have, and we're gonna start putting in blueberries and chai. Also with this recipe, if you want it to be more sweeter, I don't put as much sugar in it, but if you want to be a little bit sweeter, you guys can obviously add a little more sugar. But for me preferably, and for, you know, calorie wise and health wise, I try not to put in as much sugar. All right, so we have our mixtures in half, and we're gonna start with the blueberry one. This one's really easy to do and really straightforward. So I just have some frozen blueberries. You guys don't need the fresh ones. We're gonna take some frozen ones, and we're just gonna dump them in to the mixture and then mix it up, and then we have our blueberry one. I also don't use measurements for this. I would say maybe like a cup of blueberries if you need a measurement, but in all honesty, I just like to go ham. Alright, so now for the chai loaf, we have a couple ingredients to add. The first one is going to be some chai tea. I don't have a chai spice and I can't find a chai spice anywhere. So what I do is I actually cut open the tea bag and put the spice in the mixture. It's really the same thing. At first I was a little worried that I wouldn't like it, but honestly, it's the same thing. And then with that, we're gonna have some cinnamon in there, some ginger, and some nutmeg. I like to put a good chunk of cinnamon in there, and then at least 1 tea bag. Alright guys, the loaves are all done. They look delicious and I cannot wait to eat them. The blueberry one had to sit in there just a little bit longer because it still had to bake a little bit. But now they are done and they look good. So let me know down below which one you think I should have. Should I have the blueberry or should I have the chai? You guys decide down below. I'll probably end up having both. Anyways, let me know down below also which one you guys would choose if you'd choose the blueberry chai. And with that, we're gonna end off the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below. You guys know where it is. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Summer days burn me out, love just brings me down. Cold inside like winter leaves that slowly leave the ground. Hey, you come back, I wanna give you a chance. Love me like you used to, so we can learn again. The skin is getting brown, baby, drink your night.